Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Mercedes and this is the Frugal Life with Mercedes. Today we are going to talk about, is $1,000 enough for an emergency fund? Now we all know the answer. The answer is no. Now somebody that really promotes the $1,000 emergency fund is Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey, people either think what he says is gospel or people kind of think what he says is crap. Now, I am somewhere in the middle. When I was getting out of debt, I did follow the baby step plan as a tool. I did not follow it exactly. And he says people that don't follow his plan exactly are idiots. But you take of that what you will. But I saw a video that he posted recently where he said that people's biggest criticism with him is that $1,000 emergency fund is not enough. And he says that when he first started the program, he did not provide an emergency fund at all. So then he learned and suggested a $1,000 emergency fund. And he said that people are still saying that it's not enough or something will come up and they'll just completely stop the plan. Now, he says he knows that $1,000 is not enough. But most people don't even have an emergency fund. So hear me out. $1,000 is not enough for an emergency fund. But if you see if we're talking about him specifically and you see his steps, it's $1,000 emergency fund and paying off the debt. And then at some point you have an emergency fund. I think it's for 3 to 6 months of expenses. So the whole thing is to eventually get to a fully funded emergency fund. But when I was getting out of debt, I think it took me 4 or 5 years, and $1,000 was enough for me. I had a car that was in really good condition. I had reliable housing. I had a reliable job. I was not laid off at any point. I didn't have any medical emergencies. And some of that is luck, and some of that is just, it's the luck of the draw. And I was very fortunate during my time of paying off debt. Anytime I had to take something out of the emergency fund, what I did was the next paycheck I put back in, and so less did go to debt, but so I always had that buffer. But depending upon your situation and your circumstances, that definitely will not be enough. But just for some statistics for you guys, it is estimated that 1 in 5 Americans have no emergency fund at all. And I think I read somewhere that like 40% of Americans would have a hard time or not be able to come up with $400 in an emergency. And when I'm thinking of an emergency, I'm thinking of something with your car, because if you do not have your car, how are you going to get to work? Or maybe a medical situation. And we all know that if you are in some sort of accident or have some sort of mishap, it can be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But more than 1 in 5 Americans have nothing. So if you have a lot of debt and you're trying to pay it off, and you are like a vast majority of Americans and have nothing saved, then that $1,000 is really life-changing. And I think we also have to look at, when we're following a program, whether it is a financial program, a weight loss program, a wellness program, whatever it is, there are certain steps you have to take, and we don't always want to do them. But sometimes as people, we come up with excuses. So yes, $1,000 is not enough. Everyone acknowledges that. But is that worth stopping you from getting out of debt? Is that worth stopping you from moving on and getting to your goal? No, I don't think so. And also, another statistic, more than 66 of Americans believe they are living paycheck to paycheck. And we've talked about this before. There are people that are genuinely living paycheck to paycheck because their income is so low or their debt is so high or whatever their circumstances are. And then there are other people, you've all seen them on social media, where they are making a really awesome income, but they don't have anything to show for it, and that can be a spending issue or some sort of psychological thing that's going on that's self-sabotaging. And so it's quite alarming that 66% of Americans believe that they're living paycheck to paycheck. And then we have to figure out, if you're in that group, is it a numbers thing? Is it a savings thing? Is it a spending problem? Is it something that maybe you need to do some deeper soul searching on? So just do it, guys. Get that $1,000 emergency fund to start with. Do you know what I mean? It's just start with it, and you don't have to follow his plan. You don't have to follow anybody's. Just the most important thing is to get out of debt so that you can have an emergency fund if something happens, so you can have retirement money, so you can have some peace of mind, so you can have some money in the bank to leave that job that you think is soul crushing. Okay, guys, like, you can do it. Don't let one little step stop you in your journey. Okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you did not know. I have an Instagram, The Frugal Life with Mercedes. Until next time, guys, bye.